pleasantly surprised with my trip to Michael's this morning. There was a brand new end cap that they were stocking some yarn, and it was the Lion Brand Woolies collection. This is something that has not been on my radar, which is kind of wild because this texture of yarn I look for all the time. Because I know the Woolies line, it's like one of my favorite collections that they have out. I have a stack of patterns just sitting around, especially now that we're getting into the Burr months. I have the yarn, I have the patterns all ready to go, so in case there's like a birthday or some holidays that pop up and I need a really quick project, that's what I'm gonna reach for first. So whenever they drop a new line in this collection, I am super excited to try it out. It has 74% acrylic, 13% wool, and 13% polyester. It's not that much wool for it to have this feel. I was just expecting it to have more of an acrylic feel to it. Fluffy it is, how airy, and even just that characteristic of wool where it kind of sticks to itself a little bit. It's doing all those things. So this could be a good or bad thing depending on what you're wanting from the yarn. I like it. I enjoy that it mimics it quite a bit. But if you're expecting it to have the feel of an acrylic yarn, I would suggest going in stores if at all possible, just to feel it yourself, especially if you're going to make it into a wearable. Definitely check it out. Each skein of yarn has 3.5 ounces. There's 218 yards. It's a super bulky number 6. I actually just finished a sweater using a 7mm. I really want to try that too. Okay, so 7, and we'll do the 6 just to see what that looks like. Obviously, this is a hand wash yarn, lay flat to dry. It has a very raw textured look to it, and I wouldn't want to lose that in the washer or the dryer. And I'm feeling like I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful when I hand wash it too. You know the drill. We gotta see, is it easy to pull from the middle or should I pull from the outside? Just by the looks, the feel, the texture, I would definitely throw this in a yarn bowl. That's more likely gonna be the easiest way to handle this, just because of the texture and the feel and how it likes to interact with itself. But let's just go ahead and give it a go. See if I can't find the middle. Oh my gosh, is that the middle? Or is that the end? No. Okay, no. And yeah, that's what I was worried about too. I don't know if you heard that, but I don't want to break it. So now I don't know if that's the end or if I broke it. I guess we'll find out. If that was the end, that was super easy. I don't know that I love it from the middle. Just have a feeling that I'm going to be dealing with this quite a bit, of it getting snagged on itself and just tangled. So at least if it's from the outside, I can take the band off, put it in a giant yarn bowl, and it just kind of does its thing that way. Let's see with the band off what it looks like. Okay, and there we go. There is the end. But now that I got this out, let's go ahead and just use it this way and try to untangle this little bit that I have right here already. I also don't want to run the risk of pulling all these little bits of fiber off too. So if I constantly have to fight with it being in knots, yeah, because there we go. I've already lost a little bit there. 6mm, there we go. It does very much feel like raw wool. It could potentially be a hit or a miss. Oh my gosh, I don't know that I love the 6mm. Is that 6? It is. This is really tight. Ooh, and there's a squeak. I can't stand the squeak. Okay, so the resin hooks with this, that's a no, and that's 100% just a me thing. I can't stand that noise. So let's try the metal ones. What does it look like when I have to frog it? Oh, that's going to be pretty difficult. Yeah, I got about 2 stitches in and it's pretty much a knot. Oh, it came undone. Main thing I was worried of is either this fiber bit is going to come off and then the strand is going to be stripped, so it's just going to be a bare bit of it, or it's going to be impossible to frog. And I think these, well, I got everything except for the starting one. So it's not going to be frogging friendly. I'm going to have to choose patterns that I know really well, and it's definitely not going to be one that I play around with creating patterns, knowing that I might have to frog it quite a bit. Let's see, attempt number 2 with the metal hook. That's a million times better. No squeaky noise. To find the stitches is going to be very difficult. Definitely suggest not only using a pattern that you know really well, but also a stitch that you know too. I'm doing this all by muscle memory of where the stitch should be. I really can't see any of the stitches at all. I can also see it being very easy to flip the foundation row around just accidentally without even noticing. Let's try it with a 7mm. And you know what? I'll try to frog it. That was a little bit easier. I don't know how far into a project I would frog this though. 7mm in the metal hook. So you can see the stitches a little better. Obviously there's more space in between it. I would just personally feel happier with this too. I'll knot it up again and I need to pause. I haven't even got that far. I really like the texture of this yarn though, so I am willing to work at it a little bit. With the 7mm hook, it is definitely a lot easier to find the stitches. So for me, that's the hook that I'm going to be using. Totally don't want to have too much of the yarn out at a time though, because it likes to tangle on itself. Even when I pull it out and it's not tangled, just sitting here, it tangles very easily. I was able to get into a little bit of a flow with this yarn, still sticking with either a single crochet or double crochet with this. It's definitely not an easy yarn to work with by any means, but it is a fun little challenge if you, again, like how this is working up and how fluffy it all is, which I totally do. Go ahead and give it a try. Michael's right now, there is 30% off. I'm pretty sure it's store-wide. Yeah, 30% off all regular priced items. So originally this is $9.99. It's now $6.99. And all of the colors are available right this moment. I am going to grab the marshmallow and the onyx. Still planning on making this sweater, even though whenever I came up to a moment that I had to frog it, it took quite a bit of time. And even after working at it for a little bit, there were some that it just didn't work out and I had to cut it. I'm still not writing this yarn off. There are 12 different colors in total. I definitely didn't see all of those colors, but really liked obviously the onyx, the marshmallow, and this green one, which was called Sage. There's a lot of fun things that I could think to make that into. And it looks almost mossy-like, especially with it being so lightweight and fluffy. Quite a few different patterns come to mind for this one, so I might have to grab that as well. And then the spicy, a big oversized pumpkin sweater, maybe use some of the onyx to make it into a jack-o'-lantern. Now I'm getting too many ideas for this yarn. The warmth of wool blended with the ease of acrylic will let you stitch up cozy apparel and home decor projects you won't be able to help but want to snuggle in. Agree with that through and through. I just keep going back and wanting to touch it, which is a good thing. For me, like the sensory aspect of it is really huge, especially when it's a sweater. Super bulky skein features a fluffy, fuzzy texture in a wide array of colors, perfect for cuddly sweaters, scarves, blanket, and so much more. Oh, we still need to scan to see if it has any suggestions of patterns or anything. It goes here, which is their Wool Ease page on Line Brand. You can go through everything. We have the Wool Ease yarn, Wool Ease recycled. These ones are all out in quite a few many different colors too. Wool Ease thick and quick, that's what I was talking about. That is definitely my favorite. That is it. Okay, so they don't even have it on their site yet, which means there aren't going to be any pattern suggestions. What I'm thinking of, obviously, sweater. This would be really fun as a cowl or like a hood, a cape, mittens, basically any sort of wearable that you want to add a little bit of fluffy coziness to it. I don't know that I'm going to make any home decor with this. I think this is going to specifically be a wearable type of yarn for me. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions of patterns that you would love to see this worked up into. And obviously, if you've tried it already, let me know your take on it as well. All right, so I am going to keep working this up as I watch one of our movies from our 100 Nights to Halloween countdown tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. As always, have a super spooky rest of your night, and I will see you ghouls tomorrow.